Hey, this is Daniele Parker,
And Christy Parsons, and we are.
the Perfectly Imperfect Principals. And Christy, wow, we have a treat for our listeners today. Christy, you want to introduce our
Yes,
special
I
guest?
do. He is a author. He is a associate. He does coaching, and my best favorite thing about him is he's a great friend to us.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So Nathaniel Provencio, thank you for coming with us and joining us today. We're going want to talk about you are a writer, Nathaniel. You're a writer. I
Try.
mean,
I
yeah.
try.
So
I
listeners, if
got
you're
behind
start
Christy
looking.
on if you don't subscribe to All Things PLC, you're missing out because there's great articles on there. And Nathaniel has written several great articles that really caught my eye. I was able to get caught up on some past magazines. And so I'm excited that you're here because there are two articles that really stood out to me that I think is so timely for administrators right now. And so, Nathaniel, one of them was urgency versus necessity.
Wow. Look at that. You got it. That's awesome.
I mean, we are marking this thing up because wow, what a gem.
It is
So
a challenge.
I would love for you to tell our viewers and listeners what is the difference between urgency and necessity?
My gosh. Well, like think about like this morning, I've got two teenage kids, right? I've got a 13-year-old going on 16 and I've got a 16-year-old going on 40, right? And so like there's a lot of urgent things that are happening, right? In the life of a dad. I always tell everyone, I've had every job from substitute to associate superintendent. But my most important job is that of a dad. I'm not going to have my son with me too much longer. He's on the way to college, in a year. And so I take these moments really, really, they mean a lot to me. But even as a dad and, as parents too, you have things that are urgent and you have things that are necessary. And I think that's kind of like what we all deal with in life, as dads and moms and daughters and sons and husbands and all kinds of things. Life is freaking busy, isn't it? Oh my gosh,
So busy.
and so sometimes we go into leadership roles thinking that sometimes we have to still wear that like parenting hat inadvertently. Even if we're not parents, we're trying to serve everybody, take care of everybody's needs and kind of like be the center for like the fixer, with things.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. We're paid as leaders to solve problems, right? That's what we do, right? We're putting out fires and solving problems. What happens is what got us to a lot of those positions won't keep us in those positions. And like some of the best teachers in the world do not make good principals or good as, and so it's one of those things where
Some of
and
the
what made
don't make great teachers.
well, absolutely. And what made you a good principal probably won't also make you a good district person or even a coach. So all these skill sets are different. So anyway, going back to just thinking about how crazy my life is as a dad, things that are urgent versus things that are necessary, reflecting on my time as a principal, trying to be the fixer or solve everything, and then working in schools and districts across America through my coaching work and my consulting work. It's so pervasive. Like I'm like I'll go into coaching with principals and they're like, hey, I'd love to be able to work with you, but this mom's pissed off at me. I've got this union issue that I've got to do. I've got these 5 discipline issue things. My secretary is not here today, so I got to cover that. I got to open the doors for the families in the morning, because I guess the kids don't know how to open up the doors anymore, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're an instructional leader. So before you do those things, let's take a breath. What's urgent and what's necessary?
Mm.
And just because things are urgent doesn't mean that they're necessary. Well, what happens is, why I wrote this is because people equate to being busy as being productive.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, you may not be able to help, I don't know, raise student achievement, but at least open the car doors for valet in the morning for the kids, right? You
Right.
you may not have confidence that you can like help kids, have basic math skills, but at least I was able to go in the cafeteria and I'm not saying those things aren't important, right? But are they really necessary for our job? And I think that it was Dwight Eisenhower who actually was the original person to come up with this Eisenhower matrix, right? It's like things that are urgent, things that are necessary, do this, delegate this. Yeah, I think it's in there, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
So I basically ripped it off from Dwight Eisenhower, right? So
You know what? The best things.
I know, right? Just a good thief. Because I'm like, we need something to reflect. Self-awareness is so lacking in leadership. And it's because, and it's not leaders' fault. I always say, like, can you imagine having a supervisor saying, Cristi, I want to make sure that you spend your mornings reflecting on how to be an instructional leader. Like I mean, can you imagine how awesome that would be? You know what I mean? Daniela, like I'm your supervisor. We're going to talk and reflect about how you reflect.
Yes.
Like nobody does that. Nobody
No,
does that, right?
no.
So anyway, in my work, thinking about being a dad, thinking about the failures that I had as a principal, working with our poor principals that feel like they have to put out all these fires,
Mhm.
which is fine, I guess, but at some point you're gonna have to figure out how you're gonna ignite the spark.
So
And so that's what this article's about.
yeah, and two of the things that you said in there that I want to bring out. Well, I'm going to bring out three things, and we'll just
Yes.
which one we want to talk about. The first one was PLC is a culture. It's not a to-do list. It is. It's what it's the work. That was one, and then you said, "Do not be afraid to say no."
Yeah.
And delegating is not a terrible thing.
No.
It's a really great part of being a leader is delegating. And you go into culture, which is what you do a lot of your work on, and we'll get into that. But if when I walk into school and there's chaos and fires and urgency, my first thought is we have a problem with culture
Yes.
because the minute one school that began principal in, when I walked into the office, there were tiny, tiny, tiny desk all throughout the office. And I was like, why do we have tiny desks all throughout the office? And the secretary said, oh, the teachers will kick the kids out of the room and send them down to the office for the day. And I'm like, oh, well, get these desks out. No, the kids are staying in the classroom. And it was a culture of everyone just chaos and everyone reacting. And so we had to bring in systems and we had to start delegating and building that collective responsibility and the leadership throughout the school. And that's when I started every time we got a school there with the culture, I really would say I'm eating bonbons as the leader. like the chaos went down, the urgency subsided,
Yep.
calmness, peace. Everyone took care of their business and kids were learning and teachers were learning. We
Yeah.
all became staff.
No, I agree 1,000%. And I don't disparage principals. I don't disparage leaders because I say this all the time. Teachers teach how they were taught.
Yes,
and,
yes.
and leaders lead how they were led. It's a
100%.
it's a generational poverty of ideas in American education. We got to stop it. So if I can write a little article to just, have a couple people just spend 5 minutes to reflect on
Yes.
what's urgent and what's necessary. And then it's almost like a self-awareness audit, Daniele. I don't know if we don't do this enough, right? I know you're a journaler. Journaler. How do you say it? Yeah, yeah. A person who journals. I need to journal more, but just at the end of the day, I mean, just do this at the beginning of your day, journal all the things that are necessary to student learning, to staff learning, and to stakeholder learning. Like write it down. This is everything that has to be done. And then at the end of the day, write down what you've accomplished. If you're out of balance, that's an opportunity. That's all it is. It's just an opportunity to fix it out. But once again, I don't blame leaders. Can you imagine a superintendent saying, all right, Danielle and Cristi, I want you guys for like a straight week to write down everything that you've got to do that's instructional leadership. And then at the end of the day, write down all the things that got in the way of those things. And then bring that to me and let me see what I can do to remove those from you. Holy
That's right.
smokes, you would be fantastic.
Powerful.
That shit doesn't happen in our schools, superintendents out.
Yes. No,
Well, I think too, okay, radios. When I go into schools, I see a lot of them have radios for safety and precaution, right? But I've walked onto a campus before where a 5-year-old is having trouble regulating themselves, and there are 5 professionals running to this one phone call. Why are 5 professionals needed for this?
Because that kid is smart. He knows how to get attention.
He has figured out the system. So the kids have trained our systems. And
That's right.
the
Yes.
structures for the systems. And I think that new principals, like you said, want to be that support, want to be the help,
Thanks.
and they feel like they've got to be part of everything. And what Cristi said is you have to have that system in place. And that goes into, what you said is you writing down what you find is urgent and necessary. But then I think it's absolutely critical that we then pull in our office staff, our secretaries, our reception, the people that are receiving those calls as well. Because what is an emergency building on fire level 5 emergency to my receptionist may really be a level 2 to me. And so
Yeah,
I think
sure.
it's critical that as an office staff, we use our office staff to help balance and also help our time be sacred that
Yeah.
needs to be
Right
held.
here.
Yeah. Front office staff is like they're I use a metaphor of like they're lighthouse operators, right?
Yes.
But you think about lighthouse operators, right? They shine lights to help navigate. They don't chase ships, right? They don't chase things. They have to be steady, and they have to shine lights on the issues, and they have to be able to have, once again, processes, systems, habits, to be able to say, and listen. And sometimes that's the principal's fault. The principals say, "Hey, listen, if anything happens, you got to let me know." Well, if they're saying that, you're a micromanager,
Right.
okay? Because you're saying, I don't trust the people that I've hired to help do this. So that's a self-awareness issue. That's you're enabling. It's almost like me as a dad. I enable all the time my kids, and then I wonder why they don't do things. It's my fault, right? So if you hire professionals, trust them to be able to take care of things. If you don't trust them, don't freaking complain. You hired them. Don't complain. It's on you. So like leadership is like such a huge responsibility. And I tell everyone this, it's like whether you like it or not, you have to take ownership of everything, right? You shine, you reflect the successes, but you microscope, right? Those failures. It's on you. And if you're not willing to be able to take on that, then don't complain. Don't complain about your staff. They're the best you have.
That's
Don't
right.
complain about your kids. Your parents send you the best they can. Don't complain about your community. If you're complaining, move.
Yes.
Join an alpha school or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Don't complain about it. We have no right to complain, right? And it bugs me. I'm going to get on a soapbox here. Is that educators are the worst to complain about education.
It's all over social media.
Oh, it's the worst, Cristi. It's the worst. It's the worst. Bored teachers, get a life.
Good life. Yes.
Yeah, bored. You're not working hard enough, right? I mean, so anyway, so who's that cat in the cart? That goes around, and I don't know. It's just like, dude, you're not helping the profession, homie. Like, good luck. God bless you, man. Do what you can. Sharpen pencils for people. Do your thing. Kick every kid out. Whatever. But at the end of the day, are you building agency? Are you actually building up people? And I don't know. It goes back to just reflecting on urgency and necessity. But once again, I'm not blaming principals.
No, we're not. Hey, we are the biggest supporter of principals. What we are doing, what our passion, I believe our calling is to help each one get better.
Yeah.
Because people poured into us.
Yes.
We were a little bit in the urgency and a little bit in the havoc. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, sure.
My first year principal, I would go in the bathroom and cry and just walk out with acting like I didn't. I was in the fetal position most of the time. But it was not.
I'm laughing with you. I'm not laughing at you.
Yes, but someone poured into me.
Yes.
Danieli poured into me as assistant principal when she came along. I had a mentor, a coach who poured into me. I had a district office person who came to our team time meetings and was a part, and not someone micromanaging.
Yeah.
She was actually a part of our team. And so that's what I believe that all three of us have been called to do. We're not blaming ever.
Yeah.
What we're doing is pouring into you, leaders, and giving you some helpful tips that we've learned along the way, and are grateful that someone taught us.
Well, and I think part of the thing too is if you're a district leader listening to this, how many initiatives are we throwing on our campuses?
Yeah, that's
Because
habit.
how can we expect our leaders to focus it if we say instruction is important, right? But yet we throw in all these initiatives about all these extra, there's just 1,000 other things that get thrown at them. When do you want them to focus on instruction if you've thrown all these other initiatives at them? And so I think as district leaders, we have to really think, what are we telling them is a priority? If we're telling them instruction is a priority, are we putting things in place that are preventing them to go observe instruction?
Oh,
Yes.
Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper.
Every
Let's
time
go
we talk.
deeper. Let's
Let's
go
go
now.
deeper. Watch a school board meeting.
Oh,
How often do school board meetings focus around student learning, instruction, data, learning, collaboration, results? Just watch it. Watch I don't know if you guys have like time in the summer, watch a school board meeting on just watch your local district school board meeting. How much time do they spend on instruction? And so urgency versus necessity that article is not just for school leaders. It's for school board members. It's for superintendents. It's for so many people to be thinking about. And so if the district is talking about who's wearing hats and who's not wearing hats and whether there should be 10 commandments in the classrooms or not, if they're talking about, should we be giving teachers drug tests and all this stuff? I mean, you're not talking about student learning.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get what you get and don't throw a fit. You know what I mean? Like you're the problem. And why? It's because it's cyclical. It's cyclical. And no one, and when a superintendent has the guts to stick up to it, their tenure is 5 years. Deuces, they're out. And then they
Right.
start all over again.
Right.
So, there's this is like big. I mean, I don't know if I got like tinfoil hat conspiracy or whatever, but this is like, we have got to school. Listen, God bless anyone running for a school board. Serve community, do what you got to do. And you don't even have to be, listen, you don't even have to be a teacher I get it, but you better be willing to put yourself in the perspective of the principal, the teacher, the students, because kids don't vote.
Mm,
Kids don't vote. And you know what's interesting? Neither do teachers.
I
And
know.
you know what's even neither do principals. So usually it's people that just want to protect their tax base, right? So they have real estate. Those are the folks that vote. And so constituents often are kind of like hidden and, to really what's mattered. So accountability on all of us, right? If we hold ourselves to a higher standard, we'll get higher standards. But if we keep on things status quo, we'll just keep chasing urgency. And it's kind of went deeper maybe than I thought, but all that went into writing this little solution tree article.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
One of the things that was in that article, but it resonated with me, you also wrote another one called Havoc to Harmony, which is
Yeah, that was a fun one.
But there's a quote in there. I love this. The Havoc to Harmony, you really talk about personality types and as leaders, how we can cater to that. But right before that, you talked about as school leaders are working to invest in and cultivate a professional learning community culture, even if every PLC-based system and framework is put in place and practiced, a failure to invest in the professionals will ultimately cause the culture of a PLC to fail.
Absolutely.
And what really resonated with me there is that we have districts and they said, well, we've given them the structure, we've given them the template, we've given them the forms, we've given them even their agendas to do, and it's still failing. Well, have we truly trained people? And you don't really know if something's being successful or not if you're not going to the meetings, if you're not going into classrooms. The best way, and something that I think is urgent, is that we need to urgently find ourselves in classrooms during instructional time.
Yeah.
We need to find ourselves in collaboration meetings
Collaboration time.
to see what's working and what's not working so we know what to train our people, because I think we're in a crisis as a nation. We have more uncertified teachers that did not go through the traditional program.
And why is that? Because we're not treating our professionals like professionals.
Right.
We have administrators who are getting administrative positions that are starting college the same day they're starting to leave schools with no training or experience. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a lot of people put in positions that don't have necessarily the formal training that people used to get before they stepped into those spots. And so we have to be present. District staff has to be present. If our principals need training, how are we going to train them? And, I loved what you said. As educators, we're really guilty of finding all the negative.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, so what are we going to do about it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's education. It's not an education issue. It's not a kid issue. It's and this kind of goes to one of the other reasons why I wrote my new book.
5 stars.
5 stars, man. Creating a culture of service for school. It's because it's a service issue.
Okay,
People
talk about
don't,
that. Yeah.
right. People don't leave places. Typically they leave people.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right. So, and so we think about kids are crazy all over. It doesn't matter where you go. Kids are
Yeah.
crazy. So don't blame the
Yes.
kids, right? Parents, no one knows how to parent. So it's all, we're all just trying to figure
all relative.
everything out. Yeah, it's all relative. But think about it like that leader who really and here's the thing. And I the older I get, the more like my hemisphere of my perspective has changed, right? I don't know if I'm too old to be naive, too young to be cynical. I don't know. I'm somewhere in this 48-year-old kind of double midlife crisis thing going on. Anyway, I think we leaders now this is controversial, Daniele, so just hold on, okay?
You're good.
We spend too much time in teachers' classrooms watching them teach. Okay, I don't know anything about kindergarten. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about Latin. I don't know anything about trig. You
I
know what I
do.
mean? I don't know.
Don't give
So,
me trig.
right. So bear with me with this. If we want to serve people, we have to build their agency. And I do not think right now in education, especially in public school education, we are doing things that's building competency and agency. And I think even something like evaluation, which, all right, I got my 75 evaluations I got to do, right? Superintendent wants me to do my 75. Hey, I walk in, I look at everything. Okay, done. Evaluation, check off. I do. That's not serving anybody. I can go in with the list and I've got the wise ways or whatever. I don't know. What do you guys use in Texas? I'm sure there's a form you use in Texas.
Yeah,
There's always something in Texas, right? So, okay, objectives are posted, kids looked engaged. They don't look engaged. They could be bored as anything. I'm going through all those things and I'm like, all right, let's go set our evaluation. Then Daniele comes to me and she says, what did you think? I says, like, I don't know. What'd you think? I was like, I don't know. What'd you think? And then she says, like, I think this, you're exceeding. Knowing good and damn well you're not exceeding, right? I mean, it's stupid. It's stupid. All right. So here's the thing. Building agency, and this is what I found through a lot of mistakes and observations and whatever. Daniele, did your principal, who was your principal, by the way? What was one of your bosses when you were a teacher? What was their name, Daniele?
Rich.
Rich. Okay, let's just go down the road. Let's just do a little historical.
Rich.
Did Miss Rich ever say, Mr.? I don't know, was it?
Yes.
Mr. Rich. Mr. Rich said, Daniele, listen, I don't know anything about how you teach or whatever, but I trust you more than I trust me. So here's what we're going to do. You can take your cell phone and I just want you to record yourself because I guarantee you don't watch game film. And I just want you to record yourself. And then here are the questions that I would ask you anyway. You just watch yourself and then you see where you're growing and thriving. And you're more critical than I am. And you tell me where you need to grow and then just come back and tell me. Because I see you all the time, but I have a bias with how I look through things. But you don't, right? I mean, so is that, did they ever do that?
My principal actually did.
Fantastic. What's their name? Let's give them a shout out.
Mr. Rankin.
Mr. Rankin, ahead of the curve, baby. He was built.
Stood outside doors and asked students, and they left. What did success look like today?
Oh, that's pretty good. All right, good job, Mr. Rankin. Most principals don't do that.
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to grow you, but at the same time I'm stealing away opportunities for you to grow yourself, I'm not serving.
Self-reflection agency.
I'm not serving at all. So, it's necessary that you are in those collaborative team meetings. That's necessary, not to tell them what to do, just to be able, if I really value this process, then I'm present. If I'm not present, look, if it's not inspected, it's not respected.
Yes. I had someone say, well, they send me minutes. And I said, well, let me tell you, I can make up anything in my minutes.
ChatGPT is fabulous at that.
I'm like, let's pretend like we did this because this is what we're expected to do.
Be present, man. Be present.
That's one of the biggest compliments that Daniele and I got.
Good.
We actually had a campus that was U.S. Department of Education. Anyways, people were coming to visit us all the time. We actually had to hire someone that kind of scheduled that because
that's fun.
It's crazy. But the biggest compliment that we got every time is it took us a long time to figure out who the administrators in the room were during your team time.
Yeah.
Loved that.
That's awesome.
Except one lady said, the only reason I knew is because I saw your picture on the internet and you're so much prettier in person.
Jesus, what a double-handed compliment that was. Gee.
Thank you.
I called HR and I said, get that picture off.
I usually get, we thought you were taller. That's usually what I get.
Yes, you're taller.
I was like, wasn't that on, what was that movie with Patrick Swayze? What was that?
Oh my gosh.
What was the one? The Bouncer? He was like a bouncer.
Yes.
Yes.
Gosh.
And they made a remake of it that was terrible.
That was good.
Anyway, I'll think of it in a sec. He ripped the guy's throat out with the martial arts hand.
Yes.
Whatever movie that was.
But
here's the thing. It's like it all goes back to service and how and it kind of links back to that urgency and necessity. If you are figuring out why you don't have positions to fill, that is a customer service and experience issue. Okay. If you're complaining that the only folks that you can hire are folks from, and literally this happens, I have this conversation. It's like, we can't find any teachers, so we go overseas. All right, so cool. So you're going overseas to find staff. You've got a service issue.
Yeah.
When you can't even employ teachers around you and you've got to go overseas. Look, great. I'm glad that from the Philippines. That's fantastic. Jamaica, bring them over. That's fantastic, right? But I want you to really think about something. Why are you losing so many people?
Right.
Here's something little. This is a little example, Cristi, little example. this kind of gets on my nerves. Why do we do Teacher of the Year or Teacher of the Month programs? Okay.
Because
All right. All
we've
right.
always done.
Just bear with me. Just bear with me. All right. Danieli, the staff talked and you are the Teacher of the Year. Okay.
Right.
All right, great.
Crown her.
So meanwhile, she's got a team of 6 dynamic people that worked to build her up, collaborated with her, worked now, unless you gave a kidney to a kid or something like that, or, I don't know, or adopted okay, that's fine. That's different. Yes, Teacher of the Year. Gotcha. Service Cross medal, presidential medal, all those other things. But think about it. For every Teacher of the Year, there is a team that did not get recognized.
Yes.
So if we say we're all about research, if we're all about collective teacher efficacy, then what are you doing to promote and double down on collective teacher efficacy? If you're saying we're a professional learning community, then what are you doing to celebrate professionals, plural, learning in community?
Yes.
Little things we do because we've always done that because we think that we have to actually are a detriment to what we're trying to create. And it's just pause. It's just reflecting. And maybe if we did more journaling, right? Maybe if we did more thinking about what we need to do as an instructor, instead of just going through the motions, maybe we wouldn't be losing teachers. Maybe we wouldn't be losing families. And that's also something that really drove me to write this book, is that families have more choice than ever.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Do not complain when your kids and your families are leaving.
That's right.
Own it.
Own it.
Listen, we're losing the customer service battle. And like Whataburger, is that Whataburger? Is that what it is in Texas? Whataburger. If I'm just Whataburger, right? And wherever town, where you guys in? Little Elm, Frisco, where are y'all?
Yes, we're Dallas.
Dallas, right? And I'm the only Whataburger and I'm selling mediocre burgers to the community. And then a Five Guys opens up across the street and they got better service. They give peanuts. The quality of their meats are a lot better. They celebrate their vision, mission, and statement. You're going to start losing customers. You're going to lose employees. You're going to lose customers because you've been doing things. So listen, I'm not like anti-private school, charter school, or whatever. I'm actually pro-choice. But I want to work so that our public schools are the only choice.
Yay, I love that.
Right. So I'm not,
Yeah.
Look, competition is fine. I don't have any problem with it. But if it forces us to get our act together, then so be it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm putting you on the spot here because this is in August.
Okay.
And one thing that someone is watching that they could start doing right now to have this shift in a service mentality.
Geez, one thing. Well,
where can they start?
We'll do it
book first.
Well, yes. Here's what I want you to do. I'm gonna invite you guys to answer this question with me. Okay. So let's say you've heard about this new book coming out, 5 stars, or maybe customer service and experience is not on top of people's minds most of the time. So let's say you heard this, you watch this article, and you're like, oh, where should we start? This is what I would do. I would get my leadership team, guiding coalition, whatever you want to call it, even my AP, right? We'd go in a room together and we'd ask this question. And I'm going to ask you guys this question. Danieli, when you think about customer service and experience, what is the best experience you've ever had as a customer?
Okay, we stayed at a hotel over the summer and they reached out via text to welcome us, let us know if you need any help. And when we got there, we got a warm welcome. I had questions. I went down and asked. They never made me feel like I was bothering them. They didn't feel like it was a burden. They never made me feel that way. I felt like they heard me, they saw me, and they helped me find a solution and were willing to go the extra mile if needed.
Awesome. Cristi, what was your experience?
Everyone is. Chick-fil-A.
Why? Why?
I love that they're always smiling. I've never met a Chick-fil-A employee that is not happy. They're full of joy, and I get so excited and I love that they have it's my pleasure. I mean, we know that that's what they say. So their motto, their vision is quality service, and everything is very organized. Like,
yep. So
just words, it's actions.
Not words. Their actions match the words.
And it's consistent, pretty much.
Very consistent.
Okay. How do we make our schools like that? And then I would leave it at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's one of the first things I would do is I would just talk about what experiences that we have that makes us feel like a human being.
Yes.
Danielle, you want expedient service. You want follow up. You want to be made like a human being. Cristi, you want consistency. right?
Yes.
You want consistency. You want
With a
to feel
smile.
good about a smile, right? I ate a Chick-fil-A yesterday, and let me tell you something, man. That sandwich was busting. It was like hanging over the bun. If the chicken's hanging over the bun, someone was feeling good. Like it was a higher power going on in that chicken.
Wait till they
Um,
have their special honey one.
Oh yeah, I mean I like the pimento cheese. Low
The
key,
pimento cheese is my
that's
favorite.
fire. So anyway, what we just did, Daniele, is we just let storytelling is the language of leadership.
Yes.
Storytelling is the language of leadership. So what I had you do is tell us your own personal story. Now, what are we doing at our current school that's replicating that,
Yes.
and what are we not doing?
Mm.
So
Okay.
and then think about it. If it just impacts one kid, one family, one teacher, fantastic. That's what we need.
All right. So let's get our leadership team together. Let's ask them that question that Nate just asked us, get them to do storytelling, and then how does our school fit that? How does it not? And what are we going to do about it? Nathaniel, it's been fabulous. I cannot wait to order my 5 stars.
Yes.
When will it go on pre-sale? Do you know?
It's on pre-sale now, and then
Yep.
it comes out officially in October.
All right. We will be
Perfect.
getting it. All right. Thank you again. We
Okay.
enjoyed it.
Thank you, listeners.
We want you to embrace your imperfections and celebrate your wins. Have a great day.
Until next time.